Waging war on corruption. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
All right, Tom, Chris, Alex, Michael, John, we'll get to all of you. We've got guests coming up, obviously. Doesn't do justice to Fritz Springmeier to have him on when all this is going on, talk about the Illuminati. We'll get a quick update from him, and then I promise have him up for an hour whenever this rioting craziness, ends. I have a feeling, though, it may not. This is part of the global destabilization we're witnessing right now. Tom, in New York, you were finishing up a statement. Go ahead.
Alex, I'm really trying to help you and everybody else involved with this, so I'm going to slow down, and we're going to take this real quick point by point, because these are the most important points I think that have been made so far in all this. Again, getting back to what your second caller stated about somebody close to the officer's significant other calling in a St. Louis radio station last week, giving a statement that was passed on to her, which I personally myself cannot vet, does match up with eyewitness accounts during the shooting of Michael Brown that both put him exactly in the same position in the street, both for what was said to have occurred in the shooting, that he was charging the officer, and the exact distance. Now, with these two people never having met, I cannot believe that this is only a coincidence. As well, the Ferguson police chief on Friday in his initial police conference did give contradictory statements for anybody paying attention to that very specifically. And I say that to anybody out there that is former law enforcement or still currently involved. You did hear the detailed timeline of the events that occurred, that 11:48, Darren Wilson was responding to a medical call for which he was cleared due to the ambulance arriving on the scene, and his presence was no longer necessary. At 11:51, the theft call came in. Between 11:51 and 11:54, the description of the suspect in the strong-arm robbery was given over that radio. You cannot tell me from 11:48 to 11:54 Darren Wilson did not receive this information. So at some point upon his encounter with Michael Brown, he was aware of his status as a suspect. I highly doubt, in the frame of mind that he was in, he was not still holding the box of Swisher Sweets, which, going back to that, if you let me continue on this, please, it's a very important point. I used to work with anti-theft apprehension back in New York. Most thieves are usually criminals of opportunity. Being something petty and small time as this, if Mr. Brown in no way had any involvement with any form of narcotics in his system during this altercation, then I do not believe he would have blatantly entered his store in broad daylight, gone over the counter, taken what he wanted. Sure,
he was obviously bombed out of his brain when you watch the video, and they get Swisher Sweets. Folks get those to load them with the marijuana. That's the style of smoking it.
2 or 3 of these, he grabbed an entire box.
No, I know.
That matches up with the statement given by the significant other's friend. Okay? So all these events leading up together, the police chief saying that they cannot be connected, this was after that midday lunch break they took later on in his afternoon press conference.
Sure, but look. The larger point I'm trying to get at here, I keep saying the issue, is that they're trying to start a race war. Obama and the globalists want this. They've already made preparations for it. That's what I'm getting at. And they're going to then switch it and flip it onto the Tea Party, because that's what the real training is for. 9 times out of 10, they are training to take on American gun owners. Can you imagine what that will look like for the police and military?
Because I'll be right next to you in it. But the thing about it is this. We got to nip this thing in the bud and go back to the original incident that set all this off. And right now, another big thing I think that is being hugely overlooked in all this, you cannot tell me that the St. Louis Police Department, as well as the medical examiner's office, has never collected forensic evidence or done an autopsy on a murder victim. Now, if the significant other story is correct, the gun was supposedly trying to be taken away from the officer inside the vehicle at his hip position. Now, Dorian Michael Brown's friend, who I don't know what credibility you can give to him being involved in the robbery, 1 foot behind him and not considered an accomplice, said that he was shot.
I know, I hear you. I'll have to come back again. We got a guest. This is Alex Jones for InfoWarsLife.com. The latest in preparedness is now here. An electrically stabilized colloidal silver solution that can be added to both your home cabinet and preparedness pack alike. Concentrated to 30 parts per million in what has been dubbed the survival silver solution. The new InfoWars Life Silver Bullet Colloidal Silver is the answer for you and your family. And it's entirely free of toxic artificial additives that are loaded into many products. The InfoWars Life Silver Bullet Silver is so powerful that it is concentrated into a 2-ounce bottle and is not recommended for extended continual use. This is not a low-grade formula. We are working with one of the top laboratory manufacturers in the United States to bring you the best form of colloidal silver using electrical processes within a base of deionized water for your preparedness storage or your home kitchen. Purchase your bottle of InfoWarsLife.com Silver Bullet Colloidal Silver today and find other amazing supplements at InfoWarsLife.com.
The government's Department of Homeland Security is buying up loads of ammo. At the same time, they're restricting civilians' rights to own and purchase firearms. Can you put 2 and 2 together? Infidel Body Armor can stop every round, including hollow points and .308 sniper rounds. Is reasonably priced and fully legal. But for how long? Go to InfidelBodyArmor.com, spelled INFIDEL bodyarmor.com. Infidel Body Armor. Just won't quit.
I'm David Hall, founder of Diamond Gusset, where we are proud of our 100% grown and sewn American-made jeans. Whether you're out for dinner, working on the farm, or on the road, Diamond Gusset Jeans offers a full spectrum of style and sizes for any occasion. Our loyal customers enable us to continue sponsoring Liberty Media outlets. Use promo code FREEDOM to receive a 15% discount at Gusset.com. In Liberty, David Hall, Diamond Gusset Jean Company.
I began to get into iodine a few years ago because it was helping me and my family so much get healthy and detoxify. Most people know that iodine deficiency has been a crisis around the world. Iodine is key to so many of the body's functions, especially the thyroid. I discovered a product being developed by Dr. Group. You now know it as Survival Shield, true nascent iodine that your body can really absorb. Then, about a year ago, he said, listen, if you think this is powerful, I'm going to come out with rare earth, deep earth crystals. And the results that I personally have had have been life-changing. Nobody else has got iodine based on these pure crystals, ladies and gentlemen. This is innovating, and the best part is it helps fund Infowars.com, the radio show, the TV show, the whole media operation promoting true libertarian ideas. For a limited time, experience the ancient power of Survival Shield X2. Take advantage of this unprecedented 30% off Super Detox special at InfoWarsLife.com.
We now take you live to the Central Texas Command Center in the heart of the resistance. You're listening to The Alex Jones Show.
All right, Fritz Springmeier is a best-selling author, researcher. He's been a political prisoner as well, totally set up for exposing a lot of the bizarre rituals that the globalists are into, exposing some of the stuff that goes on in England with all the child kidnapping and the rest of it. He's going to be with us for about 15, 20 minutes, and I'll go back to your calls because this information is so important with Tom and Chris and Michael and John and Alex, former police, current police, National Guard folks, to talk about the Ferguson, Missouri situation that is clearly being stirred up by the Justice Department to then cause riots nationwide as a pretext to sell the public on troops and military on the street. It's all been premeditated. And now more and more eyewitness accounts are coming out. I was just watching CNN saying indeed that Brown had charged the police officer and had tried to get his gun away. I don't know what the truth is. I know there's massive manipulation going on, and I know that Paul Watson on air broke last hour and will be joining us in Overdrive next hour. The incredible information, absolutely over the top, ladies and gentlemen, that the new official civil unrest Army manual has been declassified. It was written 2 years ago. They released it 2 days ago. And Paul Watson has an article detailing it coming out in less than an hour at Infowars.com. And the Army goes further than ever and says, we are preparing to use lethal force against non-violent demonstrators and how to kill U.S. citizens. It's an update from the document 2 years ago. It's the same document. They just update it. It's the manual where they talk about processing our Social Security numbers into the Emergency Centers Establishment Act. This is it. Now, remember, the real training, 90+% of it is for gun owners, veterans, Tea Party. And the Justice Department says, white people are the #1 threat. I mean, it's so racial. Imagine if they said black people are the threat. So separately, they're getting ready to target gun owners, conservatives, libertarians, Christians, gun owners, whatever. We harp on that. We're the folks that expose it. We're the experts. I only tell you that because we are the experts. I am the expert on this, okay? I learned about this 18 years ago because of insiders. I've been on it ever since. We know what we're talking about. It's coming to a head. This is the time to be praying, ladies and gentlemen, because they want to start a civil war in this country between gun owners and the police and the military. If that happens, a lot of police and military say, well, I won't be part of that. I believe you. The problem is they're going to stage such horrendous terror attacks and blame it on domestic groups that it will be a psyop, and I question your resolve. Look at Katrina and the gun confiscation under orders. Didn't go into the 8th Ward or 9th Ward where all the looting was going on. They went into the high and dry wealthy areas and took those guns and handcuffed those citizens, and they never got them back. And when we were getting reports of it at the time from police officers that were listeners, by name, listeners said that isn't true in 2005. You're lying, Alex. It came out weeks later. All the guns will be taken. No one will be allowed to be armed. Staff Sergeant Joe Biggs just got back late last night from St. Louis, Missouri, where he spent the last week in the combat zone, being hit by the rubber bullet, fresh off 3 weeks at the border, and all the rest of the craziness down there. He's volunteering to turn right back around with a fresh group of reporters, Kit Daniels and Marcos Morales. Marcos is going, right? He's able to go. They're turning around in an hour. They got to leave in 20 minutes. They're getting on an airplane. They're going back. Fritz Springmeier will give us his overall big picture view on this, talk some about Robin Williams' death and how many murders are going on in Hollywood when a star no longer can make money as a star. They make money as a dead star. Could he have been killed? We're going to be talking about that briefly. I already had him scheduled. He'll be back with us as soon as this crisis is over in the next few weeks for a full hour via video Skype. We sell his book. We're the only people that do sell it because we put it back in print. Bloodlines of the Illuminati, the size of a phone book, which I used to think half of it was nuts. So much of it, after it was written 15 years ago, has come true that it really is an important book to read. We have it, InfoWarsStore.com. Everything's 10% off, by the way, until tomorrow at InfoWarsStore.com. I should remind you, we are listener-supported. It's very expensive to send reporters up there. But, Joe, I wanted to spend a few minutes with you before you turn around and leave. You're in studio with us. Man, you look, I mean, I saw you just a week and a half ago. You didn't look as jacked as you do right now. What's happened? Have you gotten back in combat mode or something?
Well, honestly, I take the super male vitality as well. I mean, I'll hop in all these fences with these MRAPs chasing me and lasers pointing at my chest. It makes you get amped up. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm out there running lives or you streaming, trying to get everything, because the only way people in America are going to wake up to what's really going on and what can happen in their neighborhood is to actually see what's going on and not watch what CNN and Fox and all these guys are telling you from their roped off little sheep pens that they have. It's ridiculous. The only way that the Americans are going to actually see what's going to happen is if we continue to get out there on the front lines and watch both sides of this collapse.
Well, it was thugs at first, then it was good people for a few days. Now the thugs have descended. I mean, that's what I see from the outside. Is that accurate?
Yeah, Saturday it was a whole different story. I was looking at...
You were there for the looting.
Yes, I was like, this is not going to be good. The protesters started turning on us, swatting the cameras at us. Josh got surrounded. One of the girls came out of the crowd and ran and tried to push my Ustream feed out of the way.
Because you're white?
Just because I was recording. Who knows? They just didn't want it. But it was funny because they're yelling for their amendments. They want to be able to say what they want to say. But then they started swatting at our cameras and saying that we couldn't film.
Well, I've been watching the feeds. There's a lot of racist talk going on.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot.